Welcome to the LandCo podcast, an analytical behind-the-scenes look into land investing and land ownership, covering marketing conditions, current inventory, and updates on all relevant land ownership issues here in Illinois, mixed in with some timely hunting and fishing reports.
All right, welcome to the LandCo podcast. This format's going to be a little different. We had said that we will kind of chime in from time to time with hunting reports, and we are like smack in the middle of pretty much all hunting season.
Right in the middle, full swing.
So Dan Ganaway here with me, John O'Reilly, and we're about halfway through the waterfowl season.
Yeah, right at half.
So Dan's a perfect guest here. You know, again, I pretend I know what I'm doing in hunting season waterfowl, but the truth is, like, I just don't get to go that much. Like, that's one of the misconceptions of being a land broker.
Is that you have time to go out and enjoy it.
Like that's the busy time.
Yeah.
Luckily with Double Cluck, I get to take clients and stuff, so I'm out there, but like I don't pay quite as much attention to like the flyway numbers and the weather up north part of the state. So Dan does. So he's a perfect guy to chat about it, and he knows more about the river stuff than I do. So I'm pretty kind of up to speed on the top land, getting to Canton, that whole area around here.
Yeah.
But it's a different game on the river and here.
Absolutely.
So give us a quick rundown on, and I'll do it too, because it might be different. My experience might be a little different than yours.
Absolutely.
But what would you say the first half has been? Weather's been weird, but numbers have been pretty good, right?
Yeah, migration numbers are, I think, really across the whole Mississippi flyway has been ahead of schedule as far as migration. There are a ton of ducks.
Mississippi or Illinois? Or are they different flies?
Well,
Is that classic?
the Mississippi flyway encompasses the Illinois River also.
Okay.
And ducks are way ahead of schedule. They're through. The Dakotas are mostly emptied out. I know there's still mallards there, but they're having some cold weather north of us. South of us, I know Arkansas, Louisiana, in their surveys are seeing really high numbers for this time of year for them. Specs are the same way down there. Canada geese haven't moved yet, but for the first half of the season here in central Illinois, it's really been a dynamite start across the board for everybody I've talked to.
So I've heard that too. I've heard numbers are up, but at least for us, it hasn't seemed to translate into any like incredible hunts. We've had a few where we came in limited out. Not me, I've only been a few times, but like, the members and stuff like that. But
and Double Cluck.
Yeah, it seems like people, including here, we're out at the LandCo farm. Actually, Dan and I hunted this morning for an hour or so before we started recording these, but people have been shooting 4, 6, like good enough to have fun, but like slow but consistent. So like, at least for me, it hasn't seemed like those huge numbers that you're hearing about are translating to like crazy kills. We're ahead of where we usually are, but that's because it's been consistent, not necessarily like incredible. So I don't know if
I'd
that's
take consistent over blue sky, staring at the sky and doing nothing and having a great one.
I would too, but it's I don't know if it's just weather, because the weather has been
It's the weather too, yeah.
It's so I don't know if we haven't got, you would know more than I would, but I don't know if we've got new birds. So it seems like the ones, at least the last week or 10 days, they're just sort of like stagnant, and we see them. It's hard to get them to work. It's hard. We're still killing 4 to 6, and it's awesome, but it's not that crazy weather where they're flying, they're crashing.
The weather has everything to do with the last 2 weeks. It's been slow. It's been slow down in the bottoms, the Illinois river bottoms, from the North Peoria all the way down to Anderson, Rice Lake, working your way back up through the bottoms, all the public grounds. They've all been slow the last couple of weeks. I mean, you'll get a blind that gets hot for a day or two and might kill 16 or 18 ducks.
Right.
But for the most part, it's been pretty slow. Guys are working really hard to kill 4, 6, 10 ducks, and they're hunting from, sun up to the last minute they can legally hunt on those properties. But those first 2 weeks, especially that first week, everybody lit them up. Guys I know consistently.
Even mallards early, which is pretty.
Yeah.
More
mallards than we would normally see standard.
It's not like you're shooting limits of mallards, but getting into some. Last year, we weren't consistently shooting mallards till like December, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It was always teal and wood ducks, filling in some widge and gadwall, but the divers have already started to push through, which are usually a later part of the migration. which is interesting. I know one of the guys out here at the farm here shot a canvasback the other day. That's usually a pretty late season bird that we see around here, and we're not even in December. So all signs point to the migration is really ahead of schedule from the past 10-year average.
Yeah, makes sense.
Which is made for a great start for everybody. I mean, there's bad spots. People have had a bad year, bad luck, whatever.
Happens.
But for the most part, it's been really good for a lot of people.
Cool. What about, we're mostly corn out here. In fact, I think we're corn everywhere with maybe the exception of one millet out at Double Cluck. But they're roosting in there a little bit, but do they need the corn yet?
No, it's not cold.
So that's been hurting at least us a little bit. It's still cool to hunt flooded corn. It's just fun, man.
Up here on top of the hill by Canton area, up on top where all the strip mines are and the field hunting and all that. It traditionally doesn't get good until everything starts to get cold. The river bottoms the backwaters freeze up. That pushes all the birds up to the open water into those deeper lakes, and then hunting gets really good.
Yep. So that's good. It's coming. Traditionally, it starts slow, and at least we're consistent so far. Cool. Yeah. So what about specs? I mean, so Dan has a growing addiction to speckability.
I do. I'm addicted to them.
Yeah, which is cool. They taste good too. Dan cooked one up for us in the blind.
They're unbelievable. They're the best, in my opinion, the best waterfowl game that you could eat.
Because everyone says like geese are great, but I've yet to have a good plain goose that's just goose.
Well, it's got to be wrapped in bacon.
Bacon, jalapeno, fried, whatever it is.
No, they're amazing. They're like filet mignon. Seriously, they're so good. But we were lucky enough today to...
and so like I said, we hopped in the blind for like an hour. It wasn't even a long hunt. Yeah. We had to get out early to come do this podcast. But as we were getting out, it was a big group. 30 and we were hunting a tiny flooded wetland hole that's maybe
20 yards.
20 yards. It's a tiny duck hole. I thought they were going to do it. Like I thought they were going to literally land on us. I was out. My gun was cased, but I had my camera with the nice lens, so I think I got some incredible pictures. But Dan dropped a couple, man. Yeah. We have to go get one. Was floating back to us, but the other dropped in the field, and it was cool, man. I personally haven't shot many specs, but
2 years ago, Kelly Presley and I had a good run on shooting those.
It seems to be a growing trend, at least in this area.
Well, we used to never see specs. And if you look at the numbers on specs from the historical data, 10 years ago, if you saw specs, I mean, it was pretty rare. You told people about like, hey, I saw a spec today. Or if you happen to shoot one, I mean, you'd almost get your picture in the paper for it. It was a pretty big deal. And where now we don't even see, there's hardly any Canadas around right now, but there's a group between MSD, Double T, down into the river bottoms. I bet you there's 10 or 15,000 specs scattered around through here.
That's cool.
Guys are picking them off.
I don't know. I'm not ever going to call it any sort of waterfowl, but at first it seemed like it was tough to get them down with guys I was hunting. Lately it's been a little different. Like maybe guys are getting better at calling, or I don't know what it is.
I think a lot of it has to do with guys are getting better at calling.
Getting used to it. And
it was new. Nobody knew. It's a whole different language.
Yeah.
Just like the first time you learned how to blow a goose call or a duck call, you were terrible at it. But guys are practicing and learning more. Right. We have some great information out there.
This is a good time for a plug. Warehouse. Yeah, this is a good time for a plug. So Dan, with Presley's, they've developed a little side is it a different division or different company?
It's a different store. Yeah,
different store. It's called Spec Warehouse, literally dedicated to spec hunting only.
Yeah. And if it's got spec in it, we've got it. That's what we kind of say.
Yeah, but at first I thought that was sort of like, I'm like, that's cool. They might be ahead of their time because not a lot of people are into that here. But that's not the case everywhere. Some of those guys in like
down south, specs are king.
Yeah, like so how people like get all fired up about mallards, like that's the bird you want to shoot down there. That's sort of
king.
That is king. Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
So getting a little off topic, but that was a perfect spot for a plug.
Yeah.
Check them out, Spec Warehouse. They do a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, specwarehouse.com.
So right now, specs are moving through the area.
Yeah,
responding well to calls, and people are killing them.
Yeah.
Are you killing any on giant goose over there?
Yeah. Okay. Consistently killing a couple a day.
Okay.
And over at Double Cluck, they're killing them, the other day, I was fortunate to go with a member over there, and one of the other members had killed 3. Nice. Him and his partner had killed 3.
Nice.
Everybody is kind of just picking them off. They're not getting big groups down and finishing, but
still
getting them close enough to shoot.
Okay, so going forward, next the rest of the season. I probably can't extend out that long.
We
But
got
2
a
weeks,
cold
3
front
weeks
coming. It
Is
looks like the projected in the next 2 weeks, the weather's going to drop. By mid next week, it's looking like hopefully the weather should be getting like 30s for the highs. Start getting some freezing. It's going to feel more like duck season. I mean, we're hunting in a sweatshirt this morning, and it's basically December, which is weird. But it's going to get cold again. It's coming. And I think the reason these birds are already past us and this migration is there, they know something. They're smart. I think we might have a bad winter, and I think it could help push some Canada geese down late season. So I would look for January to be potentially a really good year for Central Illinois for Canada geese. Numbers might be even higher than what they've been.
Right.
Might be back to, how it used to be when everybody says the good old days, which, might have been 10 years ago, might have been 30 years ago, depending how old you are. But, I think the projection, in my opinion, would say it's going to be a pretty decent year for Canada geese and also Specks. And hopefully a good closeout on the mallards. I think there's still mallards north of us to come.
Okay, cool. So hoping for good weather to get we've had a better than average first part of the season, and weather is lining up to give us our standard pretty good close.
Our last push.
Yeah.
There's always that little window of like 10 days where it's
just
like,
amazing.
It's on fire. If you can go, stop what you're doing and go, because now's the time to go. I think that's still coming.
Well, and last year was bad timing because that was like the last 2 or 3 days of the season, and then right after the season.
Oh,
at least out here in Canton.
It was.
I don't think we killed field mallards until the last week, but the last few days was on fire. I think we went.
Yeah, we went the last day of season and shot a bunch of mallards.
Yeah. So hopefully that's still coming. Hopefully that falls all within the season this year.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Okay, well, cool. Well, we should also say that we're right in the middle of between first shotgun, second shotgun deer season. Probably wait and give a update after the second one, just so we can kind of encompass all of it. Plus, Ryan's not here, and Ryan knows more than
both of us combined.
Yeah, so we'll wait and get him involved in that whitetail report.
Been a lot of good deer shot first season, though. A lot of great bucks locally shot with bows.
Ryan shot a good one.
Ryan shot a great one. It seems like the populations have bounced back, and I'm sure Ryan can talk a lot more about that. But
cool. So we'll hit that up next time. This probably went a little longer than I expected. We'll try to. That seems to be a common occurrence with us
every time.
But we were good at this last roundtable. We shrunk that down. So hopefully next time on these kind of hunting reports or kind of off topic, a little micro podcast, and we'll keep those short. But again, appreciate you listening. Podcast is over. If you want to quit listening, we're going to put in our little plugs here. We already got the Spec Warehouse, Presley's.
Absolutely.
Want anything at online, hop on there. Dan's behind the scenes there. So any questions you ask there are going to go to him. He'll get y'all taken care of. Anything you want to add there?
No.
Subscribe
to check out Presley's, check out Spec Warehouse on Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channels. We've got more content coming soon. Been a little stale, but it's been really busy with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that stuff. So
LandCo the same. We really like the podcast format. It seems like a lot of our clients do too. So download. Well, I think it comes on your iPhone, but subscribe to search LandCo and our podcast will pop up. Subscribe to it. All the new episodes will automatically get populated. Leave us a review. It'd be awesome. Other than that, your kind of usual social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, hop on our site, all that stuff. So, and again, we do the land services as well. So if you need something done on your farm, planting, improvements, lakes, hit us up. We'll get you taken care of. And those are our plugs, but appreciate you listening, and we'll be back at you soon with another one.
Take care.